Good afternoon to all dear colleagues and presidents of the associations that make up LatamPCI. It is an honor for me to welcome you to this General Assembly here in Sao Paulo. First of all, I want to thank our hosts, Paulo Floriano from ABPP and Rogelio Lin, who I don't know if he's around, but soon he arrives from ABPP, and congratulates them for such excellent organization of this great event. Now I would like us to proceed to verify the quorum in order to formally declare our assembly open. Roberto, please go ahead.
Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. It being 5 p.m. and a few minutes here in Sao Paulo on Thursday, August 28th, we begin the first call of our LatamPCI Members Assembly. In accordance with what is established in our Article 2.16 of our bylaws, the presence of the majority of members with voting rights is necessary to constitute a sufficient quorum for this to be fully valid. Therefore, the participation of at least 8 associations out of a total of 15 is required. At this time, we will proceed to verify the attendance and accreditation of the delegates with voting rights. We will go through the associations one by one, validating the name of the person representing each for this purpose. If this required quorum is met, the assembly will be formally established. This is the first call. Otherwise, a second call will be made in 10 minutes at 5:10 p.m., and the event will be considered valid with the attendees present at that time. At the time of voting, the presence of a member of the board of directors and an observer designated from among those present will be required. For now, we will proceed to name each of the associations, and we ask the representative of each organization to respond. Please confirm your attendance, either in person or remotely, by stating your full name. We will call them one by one. Can you help me with this? In order, Carlos. Argentina, Wax, Maxi Busque. Busque is present. In-person voting. Bolivia, we have someone from Bolivia connected, please. Brazil, the ABPP Association. Wait a minute, it's coming. Paulo Floriano, in person, Brazil ASB, with Marcelo Lima.
Chile, ANAPSI.
ANAPSI. Rodrigo Lopez, ANAPSI in-person assistance.
Colombia, ANRASI.
Alex Rodriguez also attends in person.
Costa Rica, ACP.
Costa Rica, is anyone online from Costa Rica? I don't know if he's around. Mark Meneses.
Ecuador, CIMEPI.
Ecuador.
Guatemala,
Guatemala.
Mexico, ANAPSI.
Frank Guzman, I am wondering, will there be anyone present from the beautiful and vibrant country of Paraguay in this very room? Perhaps among the esteemed attendees or participants gathered here today for this important occasion. Excellent. Thank you.
The Peru SMPCI system.
Here is your president, Raul Duarte, in person right before your eyes.
Dominican Republic, ADEPSI.
Edward Brito, also in person.
Uruguay, AOPSI.
Is there anyone from Uruguay who is connected? I can't tell if anyone is having a problem with the microphones, because it seems strange to me that there isn't anyone who has... Can you hear me? Anyone from Uruguay? Marcelo Oronos. Okay, and that's it.
Rogelio?
He's here with us today, joining us from ABPP in person right here. Yeah. How many votes do we have, Don Carlos?
With 10 presences.
Perfect, we have 10 votes. Therefore, we will now proceed to continue with our assembly process. Once the quorum has been confirmed, this General Assembly of LatamPCI members is formally declared in session. We begin with the development of our agenda, which includes the electoral process for this Board of Directors. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Well, here is a comprehensive report following our productive meeting in Las Vegas, which, well, we had already presented there. I think it was a pretty thorough and detailed review, and it is readily available as a video on the official LATAM website. Well, simply, where are we today? A few years ago, we used to dream. We dreamed that Latin America would have a strong, united, and recognized voice on the global fire safety stage. Today, that dream is becoming a reality. LatamPCI is no longer just a network. It is a collective force of 15 countries with 25 associations representing more than 700 companies. Every year, fires claim lives, destroy property, and devastate communities. According to the World Health Organization and the International Labour Organization, more than 180,000 people die every year due to fires, explosions, and severe burns, while millions more suffer permanent injuries. It is not only a human tragedy, but also an immense burden. for healthcare systems and the global economy. According to the World Bank, urban and industrial fires cause losses equivalent to 1% of the global GDP every year. In other words, every 100 years, the entire GDP is burned away. This is due to the destruction of infrastructure, disruption of supply chains, and reconstruction costs. The most affected, unfortunately, as always, are low-income communities and developing countries, where fire safety is limited and unplanned urban growth significantly increases these risks. Additionally, fires worsen climate crises. It is noted that fires release more than 6 billion tons of CO2 per year, while it is estimated that nearly 4 million square kilometers of forests are damaged, affecting food security and destroying vital ecosystems. This is a fundamental issue. Fire knows no borders. Its effects, pollution, forced migration, economic disruption, and humanitarian consequences transcend countries and regions. Given the truly immense scale of this pressing issue, it is quite surprising that there is still, even now, no officially recognized World Fire Safety Day acknowledged by the United Nations, despite its critical importance. We propose that October 8th be recognized as World Fire Safety Day. This will help raise awareness of the human, environmental, and economic impact of fires and promote stricter and better public policies. Strengthen regulatory frameworks, promote international cooperation in research, innovation, and training. Raise public awareness about safe practices in homes, workplaces, and natural environments. Link fire safety to the Sustainable Development Goals, Good Health and Well-being, SDG 3, Sustainable Cities, SDG 11, Climate Action, SDG 13, and Life on Land, SDG 15. Why? Why October 8th? Because on that date, it was decided in Geneva in 2023, and then in 2024, LatamPCI and the International Fire Safety Standards launched this initiative in London as a global kickoff, laying the groundwork to achieve official recognition from the United Nations in 2026. October 8th also carries a deep symbolic meaning. It evokes historic tragedies that transform global awareness about prevention. Our goal is to turn the memory of tragedy into a driving force for collective action and hope. Today, October 8th, is already the starting point of a global movement for fire safety. A day for governments, civil society, and industry to join forces to prevent tragedies and protect lives. We have some very interesting cases, important achievements like that of Mexico, where after several years we managed to have the legislative chambers officially recognize October 8th as the National Fire Safety Day. This great achievement was made possible thanks to the joint work of Ambrasi, CONAPSI, and of course also supported by us, who for years have promoted this initiative with the same purpose: to protect lives and raise awareness about fire risks. The most significant thing is that this date coincides with the one we are proposing at the United Nations as the World Fire Safety Day, which reinforces and strengthens our global commitment. Mexico has already made history by taking the first step. Now it is up to all of us to follow this example and bring this cause to the international stage. And in that sense, we have the case of Chile, where in the session held on October 17th, 2024, the Emergency Disaster and Firefighters Commission of the Chamber of Deputies of Chile unanimously agreed to enact a bill to establish October 8th as the National Fire Safety Day. This progress took place within the framework of the debate on a law that establishes the requirement to incorporate smoke detection and alarm systems in all new residences in the country, a decisive step to strengthen prevention and the culture of safety in Chilean homes. With this action, Chile joins Mexico in the task of making history, consolidating a regional movement that seeks to transform awareness about fire prevention and provide leadership at a global level. Another major step was taken by Paraguay. The president of ANAPSI, Mr. Fernando Ayala, formally submitted to the National Chancellor the request for the country to support and promote the recognition of October 8th as the World Fire Safety Day. This step reflects Paraguay's commitment to the regional cause and its willingness to join international efforts which seek to have fire safety recognized as a global priority. With this, Paraguay joins Mexico and Chile in this united Latin American voice, which is setting a historic precedent in the region and paving the way toward official recognition by the United Nations. But to achieve this, the voice of a single country or isolated efforts are not enough. We need the strength of the entire region, speaking with one unified voice, moving forward decisively under a common, well-defined strategy, and clearly showing the entire world that Latin America can indeed lead with profound unity and a comprehensive global vision for the future. I want to propose 3 strategic commitments that will define our roadmap. Our path forward, first, united in international leadership. Mexico will proudly lead the comprehensive presentation of this significant initiative at the esteemed United Nations, accompanied by the distinguished nations of Chile, Paraguay, and Canada, as well as with the steadily growing and substantial support of numerous other countries throughout the region. Here we currently have more than 10 additional nations who can most definitely provide their invaluable support to our efforts. Definitely. We also expect the support of all the countries in the network, and without a doubt, England with Gary Strong and Spain with John Michelina will be joining as well. Second, coordination in lobbying. Each president present here will serve as their country's ambassador, bringing this message to their foreign ministries, diplomatic missions, and isolated organizations. We will provide you with materials and a sample letter to facilitate this work. Third, impact on the narrative. We will use hard data to show that fires are a global crisis affecting health, the environment, and development. This is not a local problem, but a global challenge that still does not have an official day on the United Nations agenda. The next steps will take place in the coming weeks. We will begin meetings with the Mexican Foreign Ministry, in which we will be joined by our Ambrasi president, Frank Guzman, and of course the director of Ambrasi, Victor Espinola, with Junta Jose Camacho, with ANAPSI and David Morales, who will be the next president of NATSI. And we will also seek to push this forward in the nations, these missions. We will also be present in New York in October, first at a key event in Paris, and then another in Geneva, where we will bring the voice of Latin America, united and coordinated. It is essential to achieve international alliances like the one we are consolidating with the International Fire Safety Standards, which is a global coalition of more than 100 organizations working toward the same goal, establishing universal fire safety principles based on science and evidence. Its voice is already recognized by governments, insurers, development banks, engineers, builders, and firefighters. They represent a neutral and technical framework, aligned with the SDGs and led by the Decade of Action 2022 to 2032 to reduce deaths, injuries, and economic and environmental losses caused by fires. Why is this so important for TAMCIFS? Because joining them gives us legitimacy and international support. It shows that Latin America is not alone, but rather integrated into a global effort. Additionally, IFSA already has direct access to the United Nations in Geneva and New York, and in October we will have a great opportunity to present. Gary Strong will present World Fire Safety Day at 2 events. Here you have each of the events. Thank you. 7 minutes, but that's how the United Nations is. One event is with the presidents of nations from all over the world, including mayors, and the other is at the General Council. Here, we contribute the strength of 15 countries and more than 700 companies from the region. They provide the global platform and institutional access. This is the value of joining forces. LatamPCI and IFSA united can achieve what we could not accomplish alone. Today, that is the value. By joining efforts, the strength of LatamPCI and the legitimacy of IFSA are multiplied, and now CFPAs is added as well. Europe, the Confederation of Fire Protection Associations of Europe, which brings together 26 national organizations dedicated to prevention, protection, training, and safety standards. CFPA Europe, not just thank you. It not only publishes bulletins and recommendations, but also actively contributes to the 17 points of the SDGs. With this alliance, our regional voice is strengthened by European experience and IFSA's global reach. Together, we can achieve what we could not alone, bringing the SDG proposal before the United Nations. October as World Fire Safety Day. Now, let us proceed to introduce Oscar Nita Asador, who is a valuable member of our esteemed Advisory Council and also represents IFSA, the International Forestry Students Association. In addition, we have the support of that great Advisory Council we have formed, which includes the largest organizations from the United States and Canada. Of course, the International Fire Alliance. Here we have Marcelo Present, who represents the most important global manufacturers in the industry. And they have even developed a specific website for that day. And indeed, it was excellent work that served as the foundation for our proposal to the United Nations. We thank IPSAMAC for the drive behind the material that was there. All these alliances give us a powerful strength and representation that contribute to our great common purpose. And what a purpose we have to achieve a safer world free from fire victims. To the organizations represented here today, we share a collective responsibility to build and implement the mechanisms that bring us closer to a shared purpose. A safer world. This is our only world. We have to protect it together. Let us move forward united. Dear esteemed colleagues, the crucial ship of fire prevention and comprehensive fire safety is embarking on a vital journey. Cannot sail with idle oars. We need to row together in the same direction with the same vision. Today, here in São Paulo, we have the opportunity to make history. And in a few years, we will be able to proudly say that it was in this assembly where the united voice of Latin America was born, that achieved the world's recognition of October 8th as World Fire Safety Day. I would like to invite each and every one of you to have this esteemed assembly formally approve, with the utmost unanimity, I sincerely hope, the unwavering commitment to fully support this important initiative, and for all of us to collectively agree here and now that local associations will diligently work to achieve the official endorsement of their respective countries. Paraguay, Chile, and Mexico have already done so. I have a dream. As the Beatles say, right? Let's imagine a world where every October 8th, the monuments iconic around the planet are lit up. In orange, that's something we already clearly and demonstrably see with cancer, specifically with breast cancer. Let's profoundly hope that one day we will truly see it with wildfires. A day when fire safety is universally recognized and actively implemented, not just locally, but indeed all around the entire world. When we achieve this, we will know that we truly made a difference. Now is indeed the opportune time. This is truly our collective responsibility, and this is our vital mission moving forward. This is truly our collective fight. We must actively raise awareness at every possible opportunity, diligently bringing together all allies who genuinely share this vital vision. Let's join this truly global movement. Let's make the National Fire Safety Day flag a universally recognized worldwide symbol. Let's make this project not just the dream of a few, but the legacy of all. Thank you very much. And well, now we move on to all the other initiatives we still have pending. Let's continue with Marcelo Lima with education.
Let me tell you something. Recently, we had the opportunity to meet and explain a bit about the details of each of these initiatives. Therefore, we won't be repetitive. There are some aspects that are fundamental for all of you to please remember. And that is, what is our specific objective? What is it about developing that single point of access so that all the materials from our entire region are included there, from Canada all the way down to Patagonia? There are a series of activities that we have carried out regarding this general library, but really the point now is where we are and what comes next. And right now, there is a key point where we are asking for all of your support, which has to do with signing the agreement to authorize all the publications. Each of the presidents has received that draft of the agreement, and what's important is that you please review it. We have approximately half of you who have already provided your signature. If there are any comments, suggestions, or additions, we are open to making them. The important thing is to have that signed document so we can move forward. It covers extremely important aspects, such as one of the main questions most people have, intellectual property rights. What happens with that material? Who owns the material? That has already been, the operating rules have been established to determine when it applies, who should own the material, and so on. You have already been shown how this virtual library turned out, which, if you look closely on the left-hand side, includes what would be the essential entry form, a very simple, quick, and incredibly easy form to meticulously fill out. Even I can fully understand its straightforward design. So you can effortlessly fill it out quite quickly, and at the very end, conveniently upload various images, the relevant file, and so on with great ease. And on the right-hand side, it will be clearly displayed in a comprehensive drop-down format so that not only can someone readily access the extensive library by a specific keyword, but they can also precisely choose by the particular type of product, by their specialized area of expertise, by the originating country, by the relevant association, or even by the preferred language. We genuinely believe this is something truly wonderful and incredibly beneficial to be able to accomplish and provide. Within what we are currently working on, we already have, of course, our dedicated group with all the people who are part of this important committee for capturing the necessary information. And right now we've encountered a very interesting and quite significant challenge. Most of the people involved in uploading this material have an administrative background. What does this mean? It means that if there isn't a technical person to validate and support this information, they won't upload it. We've actually been requesting this information for a few weeks, and we've noticed that this is part of the reason why it hasn't been uploaded. Our leader, Marcelo Lima, considered that at the beginning we should form an evaluation committee. It's not just about proposing material to be uploaded to the platform, but also about having someone, specifically an evaluation committee, to thoroughly verify and validate it based on certain established criteria, not only legal and regulatory, but also technical, visibility, and so on, all in clear and direct reference to the overarching agreement. We already have a very simple checklist so that people who are going to upload material can click if the material is their property, click if they have the rights, and indicate what type of material it is. And then comes the participation of these evaluators. At first, we initially thought that a total of 4 evaluators would be quite sufficient. So we currently have evaluators participating from Mexico, Chile, and Peru. I wonder, who else am I potentially missing from this important list? And Ecuador, right? And of course, well, those are the evaluators, and there are people who are working permanently, Marcelo and myself. However, in virtually all other significant cases, we are increasingly realizing that if there isn't a dedicated evaluator from each of the specifically represented countries, then this particular undertaking is hardly going to effectively work. Hence the invitation, if our leader Marcelo agrees, for you to help us by appointing someone to be part of this evaluation committee. Don't think that just because you're part of the evaluation committee, you'll be spending all day reviewing or evaluating. We also already have a system in place where each person randomly and as the material arrives will do a simple review based on this checklist that we can send to each of you so we can move forward with uploading that information. So we ask you to make this commitment with us in order to move forward with this great project, which is not only extremely important for educational benefit, which is the foundation of all this, but also as a next step toward monetization, which we are also pursuing. Marcelo, is there anything you think should be added? Please step up to the microphone so you can be heard around the world, Mr. Marcelo.
Quickly, Roberto is very diplomatic. Now there needs to be a bit of a reality check. Here's the current situation. The platform is fully built, completely finished, and patiently waiting for everyone's essential materials. If the associations don't commit to the project, we'll shut the project down. And the situation today is we still haven't received any material contributions from the associations.
But we have received them from Brazil.
Only from Brazil, from the Institute. So, gentlemen, it's absolutely necessary. I had only requested 5 publications from each and every association. That amount is certainly sufficient to have like a substantial, a considerable, a significant quantity that genuinely allows us to effectively train on utilizing the platform, to thoroughly observe and identify what specific issues the platform currently has, and then to successfully get it fully online in a relatively short period of time. However, if there is no collaborative effort or mutual cooperation, it simply won't be genuinely possible to accomplish this vital task. So I'm asking for 3 things. First, that you sign this agreement between the associations and LATAM if you agree. If you don't agree, tell us. We don't agree, we don't want to sign. Or if there's a need to change any conditions, this is a draft we're preparing. So we'll change the conditions so that everyone is satisfied and the library can move forward. 1. Second, we absolutely need each and every association to designate a highly skilled and dedicated technical person, preferably a very senior and experienced individual, because the more comprehensive and profound their understanding of the entire fire area and all related technical matters, the significantly better the outcomes will be. This designated and responsible person will be the sole individual empowered to officially approve or definitively reject the various publications that will be meticulously submitted, okay? And third, that you send us at least 5 of those publications. If we are able to achieve this in a relatively short period of time, within a matter of just a few weeks, we will undoubtedly have this comprehensive online platform fully operational. However, if we continue to proceed in this current manner, constantly asking and repeatedly requesting every single week, and yet absolutely nothing materializes, it becomes quite frustrating to say the least. Wouldn't you agree? So I ask everyone, please, this is a project that is not only, as Roberto said, not just a matter of education, which is very important, but it's also a way for LATAM to have additional resources in a way that's interesting for users and interesting for us, for LATAM. So please, a little more dedicated care, a little more profound interest in this crucial project, because we are here to meticulously launch it, and its success depends entirely on your efforts.
Can you add why it will generate?
Because the fundamental idea and primary objective is to have comprehensive and readily available information, whether it is paid content or freely accessible for all users. I genuinely think that the vast majority of this valuable information will ultimately be provided completely free of charge. I truly believe that this will be the case. But there are courses. Mexico, for example, has its courses and wants to offer these courses on the platform. The agreement with LATAM would be, LATAM would receive a percentage, a commission for being the, how do you say it? The intermediary for the sale of this course from Mexico or Argentina or Brazil, okay? The course still belongs to Mexico, Argentina, or Brazil. It's delivered by the associations. All of that is done by the groups. When we started, we said we want to create the Amazon of knowledge. It's nothing more than an essential intermediary that effectively connects the seller and the valued customer, offering a significantly much larger and more accessible market than what we each had previously in our own respective countries. That's the idea. First. Second, I imagine, for example, companies that are genuinely interested in effectively posting their various publications, which clearly have how do you precisely say it, in a way that accurately conveys the intended message and information. A commercial idea of this is commercial information, but it's information that fire professionals are interested in knowing, right? They wouldn't be mixed with the, let's say, non-commercial information. They would be clearly and distinctly indicated, this is from company X. But it's a very effective way to offer. And for these companies to have a truly large, highly qualified and engaged audience that genuinely wants to see that specific and relevant information. Third, it's the usual and most common way to effectively monetize a website, which is, how do you say, ads?
Commercial ads.
Commercial ads from companies in the field that are interested, right? Those are ways. And as I always say, it's something new. So as time goes by, we learn other ways that you can monetize the site, but there are ways to do it, and LATAM needs that. So there we bring together two things, the education project and a way for the association to have income.
Go ahead, Willie.
In Paraguay, a country located in South America,
The microphone.
the Paraguayan Industrial Safety Association. This is a very interesting point.
I mentioned at the very beginning that the Paraguayan Chamber of Industrial Safety in Paraguay has recently published a couple of truly informative and technical magazines. These publications provide valuable insights. And we would be more than happy when the time comes to also share with the virtual library what has already been published. They are from some time ago, but they are still relevant because what happened yesterday happens today or could happen tomorrow.
That's absolutely perfect.
And there are also many technical articles available.
Yes.
So they can be taken into account and are the sole responsibility of the authors regarding what has been written. It has already been made public in Paraguay. So therefore, we are making this available at this time.
And thank you very much. And we gladly accept it. Thank you very much.
And we thank you and we thank Paraguay. Paraguay was one of the first, along with Brazil, to give us their contributions, and they even brought them in physical form. So just as you are setting this example with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, if you can upload it as well, what we need is to get the ball rolling. Once people start joining in, you'll see the effects, and obviously that will bring us resources because manufacturers will see that there's information and activity, and in the end, it's a win-win for everyone. So, well, yes, we insist a bit because otherwise, well, what's the point of having that website if it's not going to have any information? Go ahead.
I think that following tradition today, we're doing what we did last year in Mexico. Today we're doing...
Very good, very good, very good. Thank you, as always, Paraguay, setting the example, like many others as well. So please, we insist a little on that.
There's a question over there.
Let's see, a question over there. This particular one is currently not working as intended.
Marcelo, I'd like to know if we have that agreement in Portuguese for dinner. Yes, because I'm waiting for it to be in Portuguese, okay?
If there isn't, there will be very soon.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone else here at all? Who says me? Mexico? What happened? With this, we move forward.
Yes, thank you all very much. Thank you. We will go on. We will keep looking.
Roberto, Tanito, we are finishing up the update of 2 diploma courses, one on sprinkler system design and one on alarms, which I hope we will have ready by the end of September so we can share them with you. We are also diligently working on the comprehensive translation of a valuable compendium of highly specialized technical information from the International Criminal Court, ICC, which we anticipate making readily available to a wider audience in the very near future. Concurrently, we are now in the absolutely final and critical stage of the thorough design review process. I think that we should have that information by the end of September as well. Victor, this is very important. The specific way the library is currently structured and meticulously set up means that a particular publication, such as this important document originating from a recognized entity like the International Chamber of Commerce or ICC, could not be readily provided or disseminated by AMRAS unless and only if the International Chamber of Commerce or ICC explicitly grants their official authorization and formal permission to publish it. What we are being asked for, because we have already received, for example, translations from NFPA. We cannot put this there in the library. No, it absolutely has to be something where the copyright ownership belongs entirely to the association, or alternatively, where some authorized organization has explicitly given its full authorization for it to be properly included. Yes, based on our experience, yes, of course, we are in the process of establishing a collaboration agreement for this type of publication with ICC.
Excellent, excellent. That's exactly what we're looking for. And well, like everything, right? We're just getting started. We already have Brazil, we're going to have Paraguay, we're going to have Mexico, and we invite the rest of you to do the same. Spain is also in the plans. We signed the agreement a few months ago. It's ready. We don't want to put Spain ahead of Latin America, but they told us you have access to all of this. We don't want that. We also have an agreement where they give us a 10% discount if you register through LATAM, and on top of that, they give us a commission. So what we're aiming for is that this keeps growing, and that way, well, LATAM will have more income.
Correct. Let's continue. So we will reach out to each of you, presidents and leaders, to discuss the assignment of both the person who is already part of the committee and the person who will remain responsible as an evaluator on the evaluation committee, so that in some way they can support and push for this material to be uploaded to the platform. Important. Thank you very much. The next point has to do with the major certification project we have. We've talked a lot about this, and as you know, the first stage regarding competency standards, which I believe is how they're known everywhere, has been completed very successfully. We need to highlight the participation of the leaders of these groups. I have to emphasize the support we have from Giorgio Silva from Peru. These people never stop showing up and remain steadfast, always pushing to make this a reality. Marcelo Oronoski, due to scheduling conflicts, couldn't join us from Uruguay, and of course, Paloma Caralón from ANAPSIC Chile, who are always by my side, shoulder to shoulder, cheek to cheek, in a way, working to make this a reality. There are many benefits that, as you know, we already have with this first stage, and right now we're reaching the wonderful point that has to do with evaluation. How are we going to evaluate? How are we going to ask those questions? And now we're already at the final part, which has to do with the technical questions, not the practical ones. The practical part, in writing, we already have it, but the theoretical part, which should be the simplest, is where we find that they are multiple choice questions. Like in school, you might remember, right? A, B, C, true, false. It's a stage, but even so, we keep insisting a little on what we mentioned before, which has to do with participation. I know that most of you, well, all of you, the 15 countries, are involved, you participate, but that, let's remember that our strength, what will truly make us strong today and in the future, has to do with consolidating those major pillars that are precisely these projects: certification, education, and regulation. Your participation is essential, and sometimes the gap between the president and the person who is actually there taking action can be a bit wide, and things can get lost. Things can get lost along the way. In short, we need much greater participation, much more consistency in this area, and there is a good practice that I'd like to share, which is the case of Peru. I don't know, Raul, how do you do it in Peru? Why is it that in Peru things are working the way they are today? And what do I mean by that? I mean that the person assigned by Raul is actually there. They are there, present, participating. Why is that, Raul? Can you share with us?
Well, yes, of course. It's about commitment, right? I mean, Giorgio Silva is there, Alfonso and myself. And if we can't be there, we have someone who can replace us, because we know that responsibility can't just be handed off. And we have to join in, because that way we avoid commitments that aren't fulfilled. Since a lot of people say they'll go and in the end they don't show up, they don't send anyone, and that ends up delaying all our progress, right? Giorgio is also participating as the reviewer for the technical information part. You know, he happily accepted.
Yes.
And, well, we also already have someone who will manage the agreement part, right? But anyway, Alfonso and we are there, and if we can't go, we have a replacement. And if the replacement can't make it, they let us know 2 days in advance, but there's always someone. And so nothing gets disconnected, right? And that's what's important, having the commitment to do it.
Thank you very much, Raul. We will reinforce this situation so that we can inform each of you as presidents, as leaders, who the people participating are, so that you can help us strengthen this, because this is something where we can't lose momentum, we can't lose the pace, especially now when the finish line is already in sight, right, on the horizon. And that's exactly where we can't falter. And if necessary, we'll help each other, support one another, but we have to make it, and we all have to make it together. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else from the certification team would like to comment. If not, we'll move on to the next point. Okay, go ahead, please. This is Paulo Floriano. We move on to the next part, which is the presentation of the candidate, Paulo Floriano, for the presidency of LatamPC. Please go ahead, Paulo.
Good afternoon, everyone. To everyone present here, and also to all those who are online participating in this important assembly. Thank you very much to everyone who had the opportunity to come to Brazil and honor our Expo Incendio. I am very grateful for this. I feel very happy to be here at this important moment of the transition of the LatamPCI Board of Directors. As we all know, replacing the esteemed Carlos Moretti is certainly not an easy task. His exceptional entrepreneurial leadership has been absolutely crucial in effectively overcoming the inherent inertia of LatamPCI and successfully bringing us to this significant moment. As a dedicated candidate for the esteemed position of President of LatamPCI, and also taking into very careful consideration the significant importance of regularly rotating the members of the Board of Directors, we have diligently formed a cohesive group of highly motivated and truly interested individuals who are eager to contribute their valuable time and extensive experience so that together we can collectively achieve truly positive and impactful results and successfully take LatamPCI to an entirely new and elevated level. Now I present to you the composition of the Board of Directors that we are proposing with the aim of earning your trust through your vote. Here we have as President Joe from ABS PK, Brazil. As Vice President, we have Maximiliano from Semera, Argentina, the Treasurer Raul Duarte from Peru, and the other members such as Alex Rodriguez from Colombia, Rodrigo Lopez from Chile, Juan Jose Camarro from Mexico, and André Ribeiro from Uruguay. As you can see, we are keeping 3 members from the previous Board of Directors, and now we have 4 new members, which I think is a very balanced approach for the continuity of LatamPCI. What happened is that I understood that in this new phase, it would be very necessary and desirable to have a lot of transparency regarding the data and the documents of the association. Transparency regarding the decisions of the Board of Directors, documented and published. Systematize the comprehensive financial records and accounting procedures properly and accurately, and also the entire governance situation and its associated frameworks, together with the government of the United States in a collaborative and effective manner. There is a suggestion to create a secure area on the website for exclusive access by members, where all the information is there, available at any time. Okay? The actions to implement this that we plan or intend for 2026-2027 would be to continue the ongoing projects and consolidate the 4 technical committees that currently exist, incorporate new members, and continue with strategic partnerships. Start to move forward with the virtual library, at least that is a challenge. Implement a secure area for exclusive access, as has already been mentioned. Plan for fixed costs, foreseeable expenses, and new sources of income. The search for funding for new projects or to increase support for current projects. Identify and implement financial software to ensure the proper use of financial resources and transparency. And continue with the campaign for the World Fire Safety Day. I think Carlos Moretti will continue to be our ambassador. There is no one better, no individual more exceptionally qualified then Carlos to serve as the esteemed ambassador for this incredibly important and significant project. So, for me, this is precisely what I want to propose at this very moment to our distinguished boards. The intention is to start a transition plan in the coming months. Until we are, if we can successfully get your valuable vote, obviously we will be able to. So, we will officially commence our activities next January. And now, in order to maintain this positive momentum and keep things progressing smoothly, I would very much like to invite Max, who will graciously continue speaking. This is especially pertinent given that Max's proficiency in Spanish is considerably superior to my own. Therefore, Max, if you would be so kind, please, I would truly appreciate it if you could proceed from this point forward. Yes, thank you very much for your cooperation.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Paulo. I think Paulo's Spanish is very good, right? He speaks Spanish very well, even if he says he doesn't. I wish I spoke Portuguese or English as well as he speaks Spanish, but oh well. All right, I'll keep it brief because here we are at the assembly with a lot of content, a lot of material, so I invite everyone to wake up a bit. We're in Brazil, in São Paulo. Let's be cheerful. So let's lift those spirits. I'll be brief and just add to the work plan that Paulo and I are proposing. After all, what we're proposing here is not to undo anything that's been done so far. There have been many years of hard work, and what we're mainly proposing is to strengthen, organize, and make much more visible everything we've been doing. So our overarching strategy and direction are unequivocally clear, and it's mainly about consistently continuing with the 4 crucial pillars we've been actively working on in PCI LATAM: comprehensive certification, extensive training, widespread visibility, and robust regulation. So this is a significant continuation. Unlike many organizations or countries around the world where leadership changes frequently and everything is often completely dismantled and then painstakingly rebuilt from the ground up, what we're proposing here, with some valuable new faces joining us and others who have been diligently working here for quite a while, is to truly strengthen and steadfastly continue the established path we've carefully set, of course, thanks to the tremendous and dedicated effort of Carlos, Alex, and absolutely everyone else who initially started this important journey. In my main role, I think we all have different profiles within this network. Some are more technical, others more political, others more creative, and each of us has a certain profile, right? Just like it happens in our companies. So, in this new stage, in this rotation of roles, I would like to refresh the network, so to speak, by taking on new leadership roles, you know? There are those of us who were leaders or sub-leaders of the different groups, and I think that during this transition, Paulo mentioned, we can rotate, look for where each of us can contribute, add something more to this network, to the fire protection market, right? So, along those lines, I think I can contribute significantly at this stage, especially with the work Carlos does to make what we do more visible, right? I believe that in some way, without visibility, there is no influence, and without influence, we can't make changes or create the impact we want to achieve throughout Latin America. We need influence. We need to show what we do, as the saying goes, to be and to appear. I think we do a lot. The working committees have a huge amount of work, very relevant work, and I think we need to showcase it. So I think my challenge here is to continue, together with Carlos, showcasing everything we do in the network, how we will develop a content plan, a dissemination plan on social media, and to be much more active on social media. We already have some ideas, and to have a content plan for at least 90 days where we can continuously in some way contribute to what the committees are doing. Marcelo mentioned we have the library, we have everything ready to get started, and maybe we struggle a bit to generate the content, to use it. I think it's a great example for the visibility group. I believe it should support making everything we do actually happen, right? That people get excited, that using the library isn't something forced, but rather that we manage to generate enthusiasm, right? Because at the end of the day, what we're looking for at PCI LATAM is to generate solutions. We, at this stage, are looking to support all the local entities. We are the sibling of the local entities, where we have to work as a team and ultimately make the market grow, right? Which I think is what we're all aiming for. At the end of the day, we're entrepreneurs and we have to make this market grow. The opportunity, as we always say, is enormous. So in the visibility group, public awareness, marketing actions, and promoting the World Day that Carlos mentioned. Regarding the regulation group, as you know, this year in March was the key milestone when the regulatory study was launched and published simultaneously via streaming in all Latin American countries and with in-person events. Well, I think we still have a big challenge ahead of us, right? It was very hard to get to this point. We have the first and only study, so I think we need to keep working. On one hand, by continuously monitoring the regulations in each country, which are being modified, adapted, and so on. So we need to keep monitoring and updating the study. On the other hand, by promoting the study at events like this one, there are presentations in Medellin, in Guadalajara, in Chile. Right now, we're at an event in Argentina together with the NFPA, actually this very week. The schedule didn't really help, but anyway, we're running things simultaneously. My team is over there in Argentina at my chamber, and I'm here representing CIMER with a simultaneous event there with the NFPA, which is also related to regulation. In the province of San Juan, which is a province with significant mining development, one of the country's major initiatives, a partnership was established with the NFPA, where the provincial government adopts the NFPA standards. Although this is just an example of what is being done, what we are looking for are concrete actions that will change the market, help it grow, and improve it, right? And I think this needs to be said, upheld, and we need to work hard on it. So, regulation. We need to improve regulations throughout Latin America. This was made clear in the study. For those who missed it, I invite you to watch it because the opportunity for improvement is obvious, as well as what we have and how much we can grow this market. Simply put, and to start wrapping up the certification group, as was mentioned earlier, I have both an anxiety and a dream that certification will happen throughout Latin America, as it already has in some countries like Mexico, which is more advanced, or a few other countries. I think I want to bring that LatamPCI certification to my country, Argentina, because it has a very positive and very quick impact on the market. So I believe that if we speed up this work, soon we'll be able to have certification in every country in Latin America. And sometimes when people ask us in some cases, well, but what does your association do? Or what does LatamPCI do? But what is it going to offer me, right? And there we have a very clear example, don't we? A certification program changes the entire market. It's not the same to have trained professionals as it is to come across those projects that we sometimes use in our companies that have no real foundation at all, right? So that has an impact on the market. Education group, as Marcelo mentioned, is about implementing it, right? Everything is already done. All that's left for us, as I said at the beginning, is to consolidate. We have to implement everything that has been done over these years. I think that's almost everything. It's the biggest effort, maybe the task, I'll say, maybe the simplest one we have to take on at this point, which, as Carlos and Paulo rightly said, is to organize. So, and now in our case, to implement everything that's already been done, right? And finally, the self-financing of the network. As we already know, the associations actively participate with resources, time, and funding. We want to review the sponsorship plan that we have in PSI Latam. There's a huge opportunity for improvement. So we want to, together, in the coming months, I'd like us to be able to discuss a funding proposal. We have some ideas where not only large institutions, entities, or companies like the big manufacturers who support and will continue to support us, but also medium-sized or even small companies can support this cause. I always say that with resources, you can manage. Without resources, it's very difficult. So we are entrepreneurs, we need to generate resources and make this market change. So we're going to work hard on a proposal that obviously adds value for those who contribute, right? I mean, we absolutely shouldn't ever forget to actively help and support those individuals and organizations who are diligently helping us, right? Usually there are clear profit motives at play, and prominent brands invariably want to gain a significantly larger market share. So we genuinely need to make absolutely certain that all contributing companies and their valuable efforts truly benefit from this collaborative endeavor. To wrap up, and I don't want to bore you, but this is for later on, these are just work dynamics that we propose internally within PSI Latam. The truth is, we are an association, a very healthy network with a really wonderful and very important human value. We are all people who really trust each other, and honestly, it's enjoyable to come here and work with you all, with this work dynamic and teamwork. The only thing I want to do is highlight that, right? I always say that we work here ad honorem, you know? In fact, many of us invest a lot of money and time into this because we have the vocation and enthusiasm for it. Carlos is the first one. And I let the facts speak for themselves. But I think we need to keep up this spirit of teamwork, of making things easier for each other, right? I always say that among all of us, we should make things easy for one another, you know? And if Carlos comes with a proposal, we should discuss it, but support him, right? And that's how it should be, all of us together, right? Let's create a good atmosphere. Let's keep that up and have effective meetings like we've been doing, respecting everyone's time. We suggest planning meetings well in advance. We're all very busy people. So, a work dynamic that somehow allows us to organize ourselves, make an impact with our time, and above all, enjoy this dream that Carlos talks about, which is to transform security in Latin America, and I would add, to multiply the market. Thank you very much.
Excellent, Maxi. Thank you very much. I would just like to emphasize that as we were talking a few minutes ago, especially regarding regulation, I spoke for a few minutes with our friend Mark about how to lay a bit of the groundwork for what should be the next study on regulation. I am completely in agreement with being an important part of what will be the redefinition of those foundations for the upcoming study. I am absolutely correct, more so than you know. So, well, I am going to take this microphone. Who kindly lent me a microphone over there just now for this important occasion? Now this, as I'm showing you on the screen, you're just going to have to click on it. As I am showing you right now on the screen, you simply need to click on the select answer option, then choose which specific association you currently represent, and then click to indicate whether your vote is in favor, against, or if you wish to abstain, and then finally click submit. If you could kindly help me with this particular part, I would truly appreciate it. Here we can clearly see that we already have the official vote from ABSPK of ABSPK. We also have the important vote from ANAPSI of ANAPSI, and then CIMEPI, Guatemala, and of course, from the esteemed Sprinkler Institute. And if you carefully look at the very end, we have the precise and exact final number, which is 8 votes in favor and 0 votes against. Or 0 abstentions. Carlos Helquez, could you please help me make a note of this in the document? Here we can see the verification of the results. If I had recorded a vote against or an abstention, it would not appear on the screen right now. Don't worry. So we have clear confirmation, we have it electronically recorded, and we have a comprehensive record of precisely how it was effectively carried out. What was voted on? The vote was in favor of Pablo Floriano's slate, right? So just let me give the formal reading. Let's see, you can hear it there. So once the vote count was carried out by all of you, it is reported that the candidate Pablo Floriano, president of ABSPK Brazil, received a total of 8 votes in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions, and a total of 8 votes cast. With this result, the validity and legality of the electoral process carried out with this quorum and with full transparency is confirmed. With all of you present and in accordance with the statutes of LatamPCI, Mr. Pablo Floriano is hereby formally declared elected as President of LATAM for the 2026-2027 term and will assume office as of January 4d, 2026. Thank you very much. A big hug. Now that's it. Now what we can do is, it doesn't matter, we're almost done. Thank you, we're opening up the microphones. If anyone has any comments or observations, now is the time to share them. Victor Espibla, please go ahead. If you were going to vote against, it's too late, my friend, we've already voted.
First of all, congratulations to Pablo, because it's not easy to take on regional leadership. Congratulations to you and your team as well, and you have the support of Mexico. 2 suggestions that I think are worth considering for the work plan. One is regarding training, something we've discussed for some time now, is how TAMPESA could certify instructors. And that those instructors could be accredited by TAM and requested by us as members. And perhaps look for a mechanism to monetize a fee so that the instructor gets paid and a portion of what is generated from the course goes as a fee to TAM. We would need to establish a mechanism, but I think we could certify these instructors following a model that we know already exists. These instructors could go to our countries. It's not the same to just talk among ourselves as it is to bring in, say, an Argentine who speaks differently. It's different and it sells. In America, I think it's worth putting this back on the table for analysis and looking for ways to actually make it happen. The second point is, as we've discussed and need to put into practice, I think that for the certification issue, we should, and in Mexico, We're working on unifying the names of the certifications because we have CETRAS and CEDAS, etc. And it's kind of complicated to suddenly remember so many names. We need just one, and that one should be for all of Latin America. To say that if it's currently called CETRASI, it should be called CETRASI in Argentina, in Chile, in Ecuador, wherever it may be, so that it builds that word-of-mouth prestige. In our countries, that word-of-mouth communication generates prestige, and I think we should take that into account. We are willing to make a formal proposal when the time comes, and I believe these two initiatives could give a lot of weight to the LatamPCI. How much?
Thank you very much, Victor. I've been informed that there were some votes cast a little later. They're already in the system and have been recorded. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Willie.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is indeed a really good afternoon to be here. We are being left the position by a very positive person for all of us, whose energy and aura truly transcend to others. And now this influence falls to another person of equal, if not greater standing. Stature, of equal caliber, let's say, because Pablo also follows in his footsteps and shadow. Excuse me, I'll clarify later. Max, thank you very much as well. And Pablo and Max. To get to Asunción, they both have the same travel time, 1 hour and 50 minutes, whether from São Paulo or from Buenos Aires. Be aware that in Asunción, you have a branch, a subsidiary, and a house. The chamber is open to all of you and to all our South American and Latin American brothers as well. Paraguay is a country that knows how to open its arms. We are marked by a tragedy from many years ago on the 1st of August. Not everyone who passes through this world is exactly like us, and we are truly anonymous heroes to many millions and millions of people doing this important work because we genuinely want to protect and safeguard them. It's not a cliche, but I repeat it every time I have the chance to speak and express myself before an audience, because those of us involved in this care about everyone's well-being. So, in essence, we are truly anonymous heroes ourselves, working diligently for the benefit of others. Stay incredibly strong, Pablo. Stay resilient, Max. Stay absolutely strong. Commission. Thank you very, very much indeed. And as our esteemed ambassador, Carlos Moreno, has officially made it known and confirmed, and I am still your foreign minister, Carlos.
Thank you, Willie. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words. Any other comments? Go ahead, please.
Likewise, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, congratulations to here with Carlos. We've had many opportunities from Mexico to share some moments about this dream that Carlos mentions, which I think we all share here with the working group at TAM. Congratulations, Carlos, for this work you have done, and that, as they say, you will continue to be our ambassador, but as a colleague in Mexico, I want to tell you that you are not alone, right? We are always supporting you, even though we hardly ever see each other. We feel it, yes. But above all now, Pablo, a truly heartfelt congratulations to you, Maxi, and the entire esteemed commission for all your hard work and dedication. You've left us with a tough job, Carlos. He will continue to support us, as he says, but I believe the work is a team effort, not just for those of you who will be leading, and you can count on all the support from Mexico. And the significant comment I truly want to make about the comprehensive work plan is to further reinforce a bit what Victor specifically mentioned regarding the crucial training and the essential certification, which is precisely where we currently have a bit of a challenge, or perhaps a slight area for improvement. More experience, and we really have a technical background. You were asking for help on the technical side, and we're here to support you. Certification, yes, as Victor said, it's very important for us to think about that unification. What's happening in Mexico is that sometimes we get tangled up with the name and it causes confusion. And what we're proposing right now, that dream, is something long-term. There will be future generations, new technologies, but we have to establish unification. I'll give you an example. In the United States, the existing certifications are recognized regardless of the subcategories that develop. Just to mention one, right? NYSET, do you know it? And there even, it's not just about fire protection systems in terms of suppression, sprinklers, or alarms. There are also other areas where they already recognize that certification. So I think we need to reaffirm that prestige starting right now. That's all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frank. And yes, it's great that you mentioned the support from Mexico, because right now we're entering a stage specifically related to certification, where once again we will need your invaluable support. Thank you. Please go ahead, Alex.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Roberto. No, I just wanted to, as always, and I think everyone has already joined in, thank Carlos for his marathon efforts. We are all witnesses to the number of hours, the number of trips, the number of flights, which Carlos has surely had to take in order to carry out this initiative, which is a joint effort, but which he has made his own. And I think that, as everyone says, that's what makes him a great leader and a great person on this team. I think that from the moment we decided to join this initiative, and when FM, FSA, and all those institutions very kindly began to support the local associations quite a few years ago now, ideas began to emerge that it was not only important to come together locally, but that it was also important to make efforts on a regional level. And we started hosting some coffee gatherings at association events in Mexico, in Colombia, in different places. And we found this specific need to say, let's come together and create collaborative synergies. I think that today, as Carlos mentioned a moment ago, we have to highlight those milestones that we have been building over time. And Carlos, really thank you. And I also want to ask for a big round of applause for him, because he truly deserves it for continuing to be such a great ambassador for these wonderful things that are surely being built. It's nice to see how he is overcome with emotion and in a way feels a sense of ownership of this day dedicated to protection against that feeling. So I want to ask everyone to give a round of applause for our friend Carlos. He was actually a very good teammate throughout this work. And while I haven't exactly been a detractor, I have been very critical of many things we've worked on, but always in the best way, constructively, with the intention of helping us improve. We were mentioning and discussing with the team that we are on an important momentum. We've built many things, and now it's also time to keep building. Internally, the organization also needs to be solid, to be based on procedures and models, and I think we have a lot to learn from Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil, as well as from the other organizations we've already worked with. So I think it's important to highlight this and in a way to thank everyone. Surely we will be asking for everyone's support. As we discussed with Pablo, this can't be built alone, and support is important. Marcelo mentioned this a moment ago regarding the educational aspect. There's a big push happening. Support needs to be there in the background, because without others, nothing can really be achieved. And this will be the same. The construction of this corporate governance model that TAMPISA requires will surely be the result of the contribution of each and every one of you. And the best practices will have to be applied here. The important thing is to have all of you on board so that tomorrow we have an association, a network that is much stronger than what we have now, and obviously with many more goals achieved. I remember that in the end, the pandemic was actually a boost for us, strangely enough, right? Strangely, the pandemic stalled many businesses and economies, but LatamPCI became that starting point because, in a way, there was time at home and virtuality became an ally. That allowed us to reconnect and develop much more quickly the idea we had been carrying with us for some time. I remember that 2020 was the year when we were able to hold the most meetings and make progress on many issues we had pending, and from then on, things started to move forward on their own. I just wanted to say that it has been a big challenge, and I have been a part of it. As Carlos said, I have been part of that dream, which today is not just a dream anymore. It's a reality, but it still remains a dream for many more positive things in the future. I want to thank each and every one of you, because surely if we all weren't convinced that this is important, we wouldn't have achieved what we have today. I, of course, wish the best of positive things to Pablo and the team, who today We continue on this path, and I want to say that from Colombia, just as Mexico and Paraguay have expressed, you also have a strategic ally to help move forward and to keep telling this story, which will surely have many more chapters full of beautiful things to see in the future. So count on us, we're here, we keep moving forward, and a huge thank you to everyone who has contributed a grain of sand to this wonderful journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex, our Vice President. And now, to wrap up, Rogelio, I believe you requested the microphone to share a message with all of us. Please go ahead, Rogelio, President of the OEB. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. First of all, congratulations to Carlos for all his work. Congratulations also to Pablo and to the rest of the team who will continue with BP. The first time we heard about a sister organization was from Paiva of Aves Peka, and that was 8 years ago. So today we have a lot of energy, as you have seen here at Expo Incendio, and this is the result of the union between ABSPK and ABSPK. So united we can achieve much more. When Roberto introduced me to LatamPCI, I really liked it, which is why we are putting in the effort. And we know that transparency is very important, this brotherhood is very important, and having a common goal is very important. So regarding what Marcelo Lima mentioned about the content, we are also committing ourselves. So in a short period, we will produce and send all the content. We are going to participate more. I am also here with Danielle, who is the LATAM director for Sherwin-Williams, and she opened us up internally as one of the companies. There are 89 companies operating in LATAM. So we have to each contribute a little piece so that together we can build something greater. And other entities that are not Latin American, I would now like to switch to English quickly. I would like to invite Mr. Abhishek Chabra. He was invited here to our seminar. He made a great impression here, and I would like to introduce him. He represents the International Association of Air Force Boards and could be an entity that would also help us in supporting everything.
A big thank you to everyone for having me here, and please bear with me as I speak in English. I have spent a lot of time in testing and certification, about 15 to 20 years, and I come from a background of understanding, and now I represent this association, so thank you. I have interacted with some of them in the past. I just want to briefly introduce that we have a lot of good resources and educational material that we want to share with the intention of spreading knowledge about the frameworks that the members of the association worldwide have created over the past 26 years. We now have very close collaboration with associations, thank you, for fire safety in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, India, and I am based in Dubai. And the association has done a lot of work bringing together professionals and companies focused on delivering fire safety. So that's a brief introduction. I could go on, but there's very little time. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you very much for coming. Obviously, for our comprehensive global reach, we need to consider not only America as a vast and important continent, but also the strategically vital Middle East, the rapidly developing nation of India, the economically significant continent of Australia, and indeed the entirety of the rest of the world. We are incredibly fortunate to have the absolute best ambassador right here with us, Mark. He serves as our dedicated and highly effective ambassador and trusted advisor across the entire globe, providing invaluable guidance and representation worldwide as well. What you can help with is very important, and we are very grateful for IFSA. There were two key elements in the formation of all these associations, and one of them was IFSA. One of its members, FM Global, was absolutely fundamental. And now I am going to translate this into Spanish because Marcelo Lima is here. And so sometimes I call him the grandfather, but really he is the father of all of these. And someday there will be a monument here to Marcelo for everything he has done. But anyway, I can't finish without thanking IFSA, FM Global, and especially Marcelo Lima, because he has always been the head, the brain behind the strategies and behind what needs to be done and how it should be done. Go this way, go that way, and he's always there in the background supporting everything, and of course to each of the manufacturers who have been supporting us. So the only thing I want to conclude with is that we've gone through a stage, the initial stage where you had to push, you had to put in effort like during a takeoff. Let's go, put in whatever it takes, money, time, go here, go there. We had to bring everyone together. Now we've brought everyone together. Now it's your turn to continue with this process of building. We've already laid the foundation. Now we need to build the whole building and do it really well. I think we have this great opportunity that comes from that initial idea 8 years ago of World Day, which is moving forward. We have to have faith in it, just like everything else. We have to have faith in TAM. I think, like all of us, we are two people, right? One is full-time. That's Roberto, whom I want to thank because he's always there and available. But we also have to remember he's just one person, right? So it's very difficult for one person to handle 15 countries, 25 organizations, and so on. And well, the boss of the company, Roberto, is the board of directors, right? So please, I do want to ask you for a little patience because sometimes you ask him for a lot of things. There's an email out there with 19 points. It's very hard for us to get everything done that way because he can either do one thing or another. But understand that there's always been transparency. You have a lot of money. I hope one day you'll pay me. But above all, well, it's not about courtesy. I gave courtesy for the first 3 years. Now, yes, pay me. Well, whatever it is. It's not about paying or not paying. Here, it's about faith and believing. You have to believe in things. And like everything at the beginning, you have to put something in. I'm betting on the PCEI. And whether they pay me or not, I don't care. But this is going to move forward, and it's going to move better than ever because we're in a new stage of consolidation, achievement, and momentum. But yes, please, this is up to all of us because what Marcelo is putting in, well, it's the father of this whole association is telling us that we need the children to get in line. That's a wake-up call. I ask you, please, for your support because this is getting serious. We're being represented on a global level. Believe me, we're seen in a positive light all over the world, and we're putting in that drive that needs to be put in right now. And as always, you can count on me. Thank you all very much. And well, I think we have a great celebration ahead. I hope you haven't had breakfast or lunch because with what's coming, you won't need to eat tomorrow either. Thank you all very much. Good afternoon.
Carlos, one last quick announcement. We look forward to seeing you in Colombia, September 30th, October 1st and 2nd. Stop by the TAM. You are all more than welcome. Everyone is invited, right? Some people haven't confirmed yet. I need you to confirm because your spot is already reserved over there. So you are all very much invited. We have the second TAM Rule Summit in Colombia. The Congress is tough. And the Fire Expo, which is also going to be very, very interesting. So you are more than welcome. Don't forget it. Where are we going?
Yes.
No. It's completely canceled. But we have many important things. Carlos from the fire department. There are many interesting things. So please join us.
Yes, if you'd like, please come to the front so we can take a formal photo of the event. To those who joined us online, we send you a big hug and thank you for your time and participation. Thank you very much. Yes, to those joining us remotely, we say goodbye. Thank you very much. Those who are here, if you'd like, please come to the front. Thank you very much.